It is the next chapter in Apple's story, and here it is.
The original Apple Watch was revealed many years ago in 2014, and it not only kickstarted the smartwatch market, but it completely revolutionized the entire watch industry. And now we have the Apple Watch Ultra, which is honestly the best Apple product of 2022, and I'm gonna explain why in this video from both a marketing psychology perspective, as well as my own personal experience with it over the past couple of months. But don't take my word for it. You, the people, actually voted it in as the supreme winner. Yes, 9to5Mac ran a bracketed tournament on Twitter using the poll function, allowing the people to vote for the best Apple product of 2022, and of course, the Apple Watch Ultra came out on top. But before I get into explaining precisely why it's so special compared to the other products Apple released this year, I want to quickly run through some of the losers because there's actually a really clear pattern to why they ended up being losing products. Starting from the top, it's pretty obvious why the M2 iPad Pro was voted out so quickly. It's got the same exact design with only a chip swap being the big difference, and it's the smallest iPad Pro update in history and really quite disappointing. Then we have the iPad Air 5, which lost for basically the same reasons, the same design, also just a chip swap. And to be honest, a lot of the other losers that were voted out in the first round lost for essentially the same reasons. Now, I will say that the Mac Studio could have easily gotten further in the bracket because it truly is a very special Mac in terms of design and value, but it was up against the iPhone 14 Pro, so it was destined to lose there. The M2 MacBook Air was honestly a great product this year due to the new design, but of course it was plagued by the SSD chip swap issues, and it was also up against the 14 Pro. Now, the AirPods Pro 2 are definitely great in terms of the sound quality and feature set, but honestly, the design didn't change one bit, which led to a loss against the Apple Watch Ultra. And then finally, the Ultra squeezed out a win against the iPhone 14 Pro, which is definitely the best iPhone ever, especially thanks to the huge camera improvements and removal of the notch. But once again, the design has barely changed, and that leaves us with the Ultra as the winner. And if it wasn't already obvious why it won, if you look at the trends throughout the entire tournament, it's gotta do with refreshed design and the feature set. And honestly, I totally agreed with the results of this tournament before I even saw it, with the Ultra being the winner for my own personal reasons and experience that I'm gonna get into in just a minute. But first, let me get into the marketing psychology of why the Ultra is so special that it ended up with a win for 2022. And it all started many years ago with the original Apple Watch changing the entire watch industry and quickly becoming the best-selling watch in the world. And now, as far as the regular Apple Watch models, we're now on the Series 8, which is kind of hard to believe because if you look at it and compare it to how the original Apple Watch looked, they're more similar than they are different. Sure, the Series 8 is a lot thinner than it was before, and sure, the display is now larger, curved, and edge to edge, but it generally looks like the same watch. And as far as the feature set, Apple has been slowly upgrading the internals like the Bluetooth specs, chips, and sensors, adding a little bit more over the years, but in general, it's kind of hard to believe that Apple was able to get away with so many updates throughout the years, considering the small number of improvements and upgrades. The folks over at Apple really are marketing kings, convincing more and more people to buy a slightly better Apple Watch year after year after year. So after almost a decade of basically the same old watch being sold over and over again, we have the Apple Watch Ultra, the first redesign actually worthy of being called a redesign. The general shape has finally changed with an AirPods Max style protrusion, which allows for a totally unique shape and extra internal space for battery life, a brand new crown guard on the side to protect a totally new, larger and bulkier crown, as well as an easier to press side button, and even a brand new additional action button on the other side. The finish comes in a natural titanium that isn't painted at all. What you see on the outside is the actual color of the metal itself, so the finish can't get scratched off. And for the first time ever, we have a flat display glass panel, which is completely protected sitting behind a titanium metal ring, and a newly redesigned speaker that's much louder than before, which also includes the new siren feature. This right here is what I call an Apple Watch redesign. If you see this on somebody's wrist, you know it's the new Ultra, and you just couldn't say the same for any other Apple Watch update in the past, except for the Series 5, which of course added the always-on display. But it's not just the design that's special, because Apple packed it to the brim with new features, specs, and sensors that simply aren't possible on previous watch models. So unlike almost every other Apple product that came out this year that was mostly a refreshed version of a previous design, the Apple Watch Ultra is the one that stands out the most, because this design is completely different on so many levels. And in terms of value, $800 for what you get is honestly so worth it, considering the fact that it comes with a titanium metal finish for the same base price, while simply upgrading to stainless steel on the regular Series 8 brings it up to around the same price anyway. So in terms of marketing psychology, when the world is used to getting the same old Apple Watch with minor changes every year for almost a decade, a product like the Apple Watch Ultra delivered such a huge shock to the entire industry that people couldn't help themselves but to love it, both for the new design and the actual feature set as well. The Ultra basically proves that Apple isn't done innovating, and they're not done pushing the rest of the industry forward, and that's what really makes it special compared to all of the other Apple products this year. And those reasons are honestly why I personally upgraded to the Ultra. It's just so special and unique that I actually wanted to wear an Apple Watch for the first time in many years, even though I've been an Apple fan for as long as I remember. So with all of that out of the way, let me explain my own personal experience with the Ultra and why I like it so much. To be completely honest, I'm the most casual user out there that barely put this watch through its paces and barely used any of the hardcore features that this watch offers, but I didn't buy it for that. I bought it for 3 reasons, starting with the unique design, which I think looks industrial, and I absolutely love that about it. I love that it's thick and bulky. I love that extra crown guard. The second reason is the display that's super bright when you're outside, and the peace of mind knowing that the sapphire crystal is essentially scratch proof and it's crack resistant because the metal outer ring protects it. And I seriously love the night mode, which you can turn on by spinning the crown. I use it almost exclusively. And the final reason is the battery life. Holy moly, it's absolutely insane. Over the past couple of months, that's been the #1 thing that has blown me away, because I only have to charge it every 3 days. Yes, every 3 days. I can literally come home and leave it on my countertop for 2 days in a row without having to worry about charging it. It's just been a dream compared to previous models that must be charged every night. That by itself makes this a completely different experience. But all in all, it's the unique design that made me cave in and buy one, and that is why I think it gets the Product of the Year award. So if you completely disagree with me and my thoughts in this video, let me know down in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed it, click that circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one. Check out one of those 2 right there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.